Hello, everyone. Kino here, back with another House of the Dragon reaction. I'm recording this in a different room with my little portable camera, so I apologize if it doesn't sound great, but it's really hot upstairs. I don't want to be up there right now, but um, just watched the third episode of season two. Um, oh God, I saw what the title was, but I'm blanking on it right now. The Burning Mill. This episode opens with a. It's not a cold open, but it opens with how Bracken and Blackwood. There's these two rival houses in the Riverlands. They hate each other. They're kind of a nod to like the Hatfield and McCoy family, like this like it's this like old rivalry that's gone on like centuries and stuff. They absolutely hate each other. Um, and we saw them a little bit last season. So we saw that young, I think his name, I think it was Jonas Blackwood. I don't remember who it was, but it was like this little Blackwood kid. He was trying to win Rhaenyra's hand in marriage when they were deciding who she was going to marry. He got made fun of by the Bracken, so he stabbed the Bracken. Although this time they kind of flipped it. They did the House Blackwood kid is the he's kind of more the aggressor. He's like a little bit of a bully. For the record, though, in the books, they almost always portray the Blackwoods as like the good ones and the Brackens as the bad ones. The Brackens are always on the bad side. But regardless, and the reason for that is because the Blackwoods have like this historic. They worship the old gods. They're like one of the only non-northern houses that still worships the old gods. So, and since the old gods are associated with Stark and stuff, the Blackwoods are almost always portrayed well. But regardless, that escalates into a full blown battle, and there's like corpses everywhere. There's like the mill burning. That's what the title is from, the Battle of the Burning Mill. And what it's about is basically how this conflict is going to escalate and it's going to destroy everything. Right. Same thing we saw in Game of Thrones. What starts off as a dispute between the highborn lords is obviously going to spread, and like the Riverlands are going to burn, everyone's going to die, and everyone's kind of aware of that in this episode. In terms of plot in this episode, not a lot directly happens. It's pretty much a setup for what's going to happen next episode. I've seen the comments saying that like next episode is going to have the big battle. I can totally tell that. We get a lot of, I will say, a nice kind of slice of life moments in this episode. Like we get to see the characters in their like natural environments, like Aegon at a whorehouse teasing Aemond. He's still the bullied kid even after all these years. We see Daemon in Harrenhal. We get a cool sequence with the young actress who played young Rhaenyra, Millie Alcock, I think her name is. But she comes back as a vision for Daemon, and of course we know that Harrenhal is haunted by the ghosts of Harren the Black and stuff like that. So it does kind of make sense. There's a weird scene where a woman, and I can't tell if she's like, I don't remember if she's from the books or not, but oh, maybe who that is. Maybe that's Alice Rivers. I don't know. I didn't look at the credits scroll. That might be Alice Rivers, but I don't know. Anyway, the point is there's this woman who tells him that like he's gonna die at Harrenhal, which I'm not gonna spoil anything, but people who know the books know what happens. So obviously there's some setup there with him there. I he shows up there just with his dragon, and I'm like, he didn't bring any like guys with him, and I get that like just the threat of the dragon is enough to be like, oh, you work for me now, but I don't know. It just seems like the second he leaves, if they weren't loyal, couldn't they just betray him? But it seems like House Strong, who runs House Harrenhal, is on Rhaenyra's side because they of course know that Larys killed his father and brother in Harrenhal with fire. So it seems like they're on his side. We get some references to some other like people like Lord Grover Tully, whose name is a reference to Sesame Street Grover. His son is named like Kermit, and his other son's named like Elmo and stuff. So totally reference to Sesame Street there. But the biggest thing in this episode is Rhaenyra sneaking into King's Landing to talk with Alicent, and I really hate this scene so much. Like, I understand they wanted to have a scene of them talking together because they had such a strong friendship and they haven't had a chance to interact with since last season because they're about to be at war. So they want one final like talking scene between the two of them before shit goes crazy. But I don't know. It just reminded me so much of like season 8 of Game of Thrones when they're sneaking into King's Landing. It just I don't know. It seems so improbable to have Rhaenyra sneak in there. Like, yes, Daemon snuck in, but in the books at least it was because he knew the gold cloaks. He was their Lord Commander. He gave them the gold cloaks. So it makes sense that they would protect him and sneak him around. I don't know, just having Rhaenyra there walking around is it just strikes me as weird and kind of forced to have this conversation. I think it's also in the extent of making Rhaenyra look good. Like they're really going all in on making Rhaenyra the good one here. She's even dressed as a nun, like a septa in this episode. So the imagery there is uncanny that she's doing everything she can to avoid war, and it's Alicent and her side that are starting it, which is true to an extent, but I don't know. It just I really am scared they're just gonna whitewash Rhaenyra and make her perfect. Although I will say, I don't usually watch the teaser for the next episode, but I watched it for this one, and it seems like Rhaenyra has a line where she's like, "The horrors I'm about to unleash are for more than just the crown." So what I think they might do is they might have Rhaenyra kind of go tyrannical and crazy and stuff like she does in the books, but instead of it being about for power, it's going to be about the Song of Ice and Fire, because again, they set up this whole thing that Rhaenyra and Viserys know about the White Walkers, and it's her duty to unite the realm to prepare for that, and that might justify all the bad stuff she's going to do later on. So we'll see how that actually turns out, but I'm really hoping they don't again whitewash her and make her she did nothing wrong and it was all everyone else and it was all propaganda. I also really I have to say this too, I really dislike what they're doing with the whole they're taking all the events from the book, all the cool moments from the book, and they're making them all like accidental. Like again, Aemond killing is it Lucerys? Yeah, I think it was Lucerys. That was an accident. The killing of Jaehaerys, Aegon's son, is an accident. They're taking away all this stuff and making it more like, oh, whoops, this stuff happened. And I get what they're doing. Again, they're trying to be like, history was propaganda. It didn't actually happen as the way it's told in the story. But the only problem with that is the story's cooler than what we're actually seeing for the most part. Like, the death of Jaehaerys in the books is way cooler than what we saw in the show. So I get the point they're trying to make about history is unreliable, but if the end result is that if it's not as cool as it was in the books, I don't know why we're doing that, other than, again, to make Rhaenyra look as good as possible. But we'll really have to see how things go. It looks like there's going to be a big battle next episode. We'll see how that plays out. Looks like the Greens are going to commit some war crimes, it seems here, but I don't know, maybe that's fair. But either way, an interesting episode, but I really hope we can get into the good stuff here, because we're about halfway through the season. It's only 8 episodes this season, so we need to step up the action here. But I can see how they're setting up now for season, like they're gonna do like probably 4 seasons of this show. Like I was thinking like 3 seasons, but I could totally see 4 with the pacing that they're going for now, which might be good, might be bad. We'll just have to see how it plays out. But either way, thank you guys for watching this, and stay tuned for the next reaction coming next week. See you guys then.